think Tech Mahindra's approach to innovation has always been an open innovation approach. I think it is for that reason that we have a Makers Lab that is an open garage model that exists within Tech Mahindra. The lab started in Pune and is now in Hyderabad, Noida and Bangalore, and also 4 locations across the world. The principle for the lab has always been the why around technology, and then use that why for a cohort model to challenge how do we create solutions for our customers, how do we do it for our businesses, etc. And this has resulted into some of the firsts for the industry. India's first PSU bank, which is the UBI bank, went live on Metaverse because of the Makers. Makers Lab was also responsible for finding a therapeutic molecule against COVID-19, something which took us a dedicated 1.5 years of research, included AI, included wet labs, included even building a 3D printed biolung outside the human body to test some of these repurposed drugs to attack the virus. There is another interesting thing that the lab has done. Under the aegis of Principal Scientific Advisor, the lab also created an app which is today used by countless number of farmers across the country. This app is called Atmanirbhar Krishi, and today gives a farmer, wherever he or she is in their plot of land, ability to find weather prediction, figuring out what soil conditions are, figuring out what minerals are, and so many other things which were earlier devoid. So we've democratized that process for a farmer as well. It is because of this effort that Makers Lab of Tech Mahindra is also considered as a case study for open innovation in R&D by none other than the World Economic Forum as well. When we look at a startup, we look at about 3 or 4 parameters for a startup. One of the first things that we look at is what is the novelty and the innovativeness of a solution that we give. What's the applicability for our business use case? How is the co-founder? What is the co-founder's passion as well? Because what we think is that startups do a lot of good work, but some of their ideas or some of the solutions that they've built in can be myopic. How can we bring in our own enterprise experience across the world, and can we put that augmentation on top of what startup has created as an IP? When we look at startups, we also look at mentoring them at each step of the journey, right? In some scenarios, we have also helped this journey with the startups with the right idea as well. Some of our people within the lab go and sit with the startups, trying to figure out the right idea against the right problem statement that may exist in the world. There are other things that we also mentor. We mentor with some of our solutions, and that becomes a kind of joint IP with the startups as well, which they take it to the market. There's also a larger scope of work where we do with the startups to figuring out how can we take them along with us to some of our customers who are in need for that particular solution. The success with innovation, the success with startups is measured in both tangible and intangible measures. The tangible measures, of course, include how can we commercialize these solutions which are provided for customers. But the intangible benefits exceed much more than these tangible benefits. If we look at how are we looking at customer retention, what's the CSAT, what's the agility in providing our solutions, but also how we become thought leaders in providing that solutions to our customers. And I think roughly these tangible and intangible measures become a way for us to test the waters for innovation. And we have a very interesting way of measuring our own innovation as well. Typically, people have a KPI or a KRA based tool, but we also apply that KPI to our own selves when we measure this innovation. So, which includes number of ideas that we've produced in a quarter, number of solutions that we have prototyped. Because it's a research lab, there's a lot of prototyping and usage of new technologies that goes around. And some of these technologies may never see the light of the day, but some of them can be very, very good for our customers going forward. Tech Mahindra has always followed the group philosophy of RISE, and the RISE is that you don't rise yourself, you also enable others to rise with you. These principles are embedded deep within our psyche, and we also ensure that the startups embed those when they connect with us. These RISE principles, typically in a very short formats, means driving positive change in each other's lives and the lives of the end customer that we are producing that solution with. Alternative thinking, which actually embodies a lot of thought and courage and passion that we do it, and entrepreneurship, right, which is obviously there when a startup comes to us. But the last format is also sustainability. When we build solutions using tech, we don't want to create pollution because of tech. We want to make sure that these solutions that we build in are sustainable enough which can be sustainable for society, for for people living in the society and the humanity that it touches. There are many, but I would look at two of them. One of them is a very interesting robotics startup that we have, and we are trying to work with that robotics startup for our defense sector as well. These robots are actually built in-house. These robots include swarm of robots. These robots also include, detection robots, and also looking at some of the techniques of AI, like deep reinforcement learning, being put into these robots for their own tasks. There's another interesting startup, which is a healthcare startup that we are involved with. This healthcare startup is actually trying to solve a problem for radiologists to actually get X-rays, right? And these X-rays are actually given to an AI system, which gives its own prediction of what kind of disease is available from that X-ray or CT scan. Be very well connected with T-Hub, and T-Hub can definitely help Tech Mahindra in creating cohorts for problem statements that we are trying to solve for our customers. And these are not regular problem statements. These are problem statements that may have a very divergent view and may involve more than one people and one brain to look at it. And I think that's where we think is one of the biggest advantages that T-Hub has done for the country. And that's one of the ways that T-Hub can actually help Tech Mahindra.